Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, my name's Dave and I make content around shoes, running, and my life. With the first day of summer being today, actually, I don't know if you can hear this, but it's raining right now, some first day of summer. But with the first day of summer being today, my self-proclaimed speed season has finally begun. I've had a good bloody crack this year over the longer distance, so I've decided to dedicate my summer to getting faster over the 5K and 10K distances. And in the spirit of speed season, I've come up with 5 speed workouts to get you fucking fast over the summer. Okay, so you may have already seen some of these workouts before. I did not invent these. These are just ones that I've seen online and that I really like to do. So hopefully from this video, you can gain at least one workout to add into your programming, or you've hopefully gained a little bit of inspiration from this video. I like to have my interval and fartlek portions of my workouts to run for about 20 minutes. I like to keep it short, sharp, and speedy. Speaking of speedy, quickly like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Alright, change of scenery. So it's the 1st of December, so that means first day of summer, and also it's the first day of Christmas. Got to get that tree up. So I've got 5 speed sessions here to go through. I'm going to break them down one by one and explain how I would complete them. First, I'll go through some lingo that may be a little bit confusing if you're new to running. So all of these workouts are basically focused more towards getting faster at the 5K distance. And when I say 5K pace, so if I was to run 5 kilometers in 20 minutes, my 5K pace would then be 4 minutes per kilometer. If I was to run a 5K at 17 minutes 30, then my 5K pace would be 3:30 per kilometer. Apologies to all the Americans out there, but I'm just gonna stick to kilometer pace for this one. Next one we have an interval. So an interval is basically an interrupted high intensity effort. For example, you would have an effort that either goes for however minutes or however many meters, and in between those efforts, you would have a standing or a walking recovery. A fartlek, I like to see a fartlek as more of a continuous workout. So instead of having standing or walking recoveries, you would have a jog or a float recovery in between those intervals. So that way the session is more continuous and you're not stopping for the entire 20 minutes or so. A float is usually done between efforts on a fartlek session. So you'd usually do your float around 30 seconds slower than you did your hard effort. So for example, if I was doing 1 kilometer reps with a 500 meter float in between, say my 1 kilometer reps are at 4-minute pace, then I would do my floats at 4:30 pace. So you are allowing yourself to slow down slightly and still gain the benefits of recovering, but you're also still keeping the gas on and building that endurance as you go through the workout. So that's basically the idea behind a fartlek session. That was a very dumbed down Dave version of those. I'm sure there's definitely better ways to explain those, but yeah, those are just really simple ways of explaining how I interpret that stuff. Okay, so the first speed session for your summer on the list is Mona fartlek. So the Mona fartlek was actually created by an Australian named Steve Monaghetti, which makes me think it's probably called a Mona fartlek, now that I think about it. Probably been saying it wrong the entire time. So the session goes as follows. 90 seconds work, 90-second float times 2. 60-second work, 60-second float times 4. 30-second work, 30-second float times 4. And then lastly, 15 seconds work, 15 seconds float times 4. This works out to be a perfect 20-minute workout. You're gonna wanna make sure that you warm up before and after the workout. I always like to throw in at least a 2K or a 10-minute warm up and cool down after every workout that we do today. So there's 2 ways to do this. The first way is you can either increase pace as the duration of the intervals gets shorter. So for example, the 90-second effort you might do at 4-minute pace, and then the 60-second efforts you're doing at 350, and then so on, and you're sort of building yourself up through the paces as you go. This is a really hard way to do it. The other option to do is just run it at your 5K pace for all of the hard efforts. So if your 5K pace is 4 minutes per kilometer, then you're just running all of the on efforts at 4 minutes per kilometer. And then the floats you want to be running at around 420 to 430 per kilometer. If you are newer to running, of course, you can do the off reps. You don't have to do a float. You can do a nice easy jog, or the other option is to do a walking or standing recovery. That will pretty much be the case for all of these workouts. There's always a way to scale it down. You just basically have to, the float is going to be the most difficult way to do the session, but it's also not always the most efficient way to do the session, if that makes sense. So the second speed workout that we have for the speed list, so we've got the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 fartlek session with 60-second float in between each rep. So the way that's going to work, it works similar to the monofartlek, where with your efforts, there's two ways you can go about it. You can either increase the paces as you work through, or as the timing decreases, or you can just try to stick to your 5K pace and then just maintain that throughout the entire session, okay? So 5 minutes at 5K pace, 60-second float. All right, so that float, we're adding 20, 30 seconds onto your pace, so you can sort of recover, but you're still working hard. Then 4 minutes, recover, 3, 2, and 1. And that works out to be another perfect 20-minute workout. Also remember, you can do this as a float, jog, walk, or standing recovery. All right, moving on to the third session. We have 5 times 800 meters with a 200 easy jog recovery. This one you're gonna wanna do at your goal 5K race pace. And in between those intervals, we just have a nice 200 meter recovery jog. Okay, do this one super easy because you want to be able to recover as best you can with that one. But yeah, again, you can do this as a fast float, which would probably end up being a pretty tough session. What's really great about this session is it works out to be a perfect 5Ks. Okay, so you've got the 800 meter interval, and then you've got a 200 meter recovery jog, which works out to be 1K. Do that 5 times, you got 5Ks in total. So it's a really good session to see where you're at fitness-wise for a 5K. And if you do this session right, yeah, you should be feeling it by the 4th rep, definitely. And the 4th workout, we have the classic Kenyan fartlek, which is 10 times 1 minute on, 1 minute float. Another really great session to do as more of a fartlek and more of a continuous workout, where you're working hard at that 5K pace or even faster for the 1 minute ons, and then yeah, you're floating for that 1 minute off. So again, 20 to 30 seconds slower than what you were running the ons. You have probably seen this one been done millions of times, and they absolutely love it over in Kenya for whatever reason. I saw on Ben is Running's video that they actually do 13 times minute on, minute off, which I think works out to be like 13 minutes for their 5K. So if you break up the efforts, or we add up the efforts together, it works out to be 13 minutes, which is usually how long it takes them to do a 5K. So I think that's kind of like the reason behind it, maybe. But either way, it's an unbelievably great session, and you'll probably find that if you are newer to running, that you are gonna get a 5K PB just by doing this one. Like in the session, at that time, you'll get a 5K PB. It's great. And lastly, the 5th session on the list, we have 4 by 4 minutes with 1 minute recovery in between. Again, this one is perfect for doing at 5K pace and will really set you up for that 5K PB, and just teaches you and teaches your body just to get used to the feeling of running at 5K pace, and then therefore should make you more efficient when you come to race day or even that park run that you're trying to absolutely send. For the 1 minute recoveries, I would recommend to do a standing recovery with this one. I mean, you can do a float, but yeah, this is probably one of those sessions where I was talking about it's not more efficient to do a float with everything. It's not gonna make you more fit. It is good to actually have that time to recover, so then you can give it a proper send on that next interval. As if anybody who has done like a 4 minute interval, yeah, it can get pretty tough by the last minute, especially after you've done 4 of them. And this is another perfect little workout that's gonna add up to that 20 minute mark that you can pretty much get out, get it done, and then get on with your day. There you go, my 5 speed sessions of the summer. Like I said at the start of the video, you probably have already heard of some of these workouts before, but hopefully you've gained at least one that you can throw into your training, or at least gained a little bit of inspiration for your next workout. I encourage everybody to give them a crack and let me know in the comments down below how you went. I'm gonna leave the video at that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.